Okay, what's going on? Oh shit, that sucked. I just coughed in my mouth. What's going on, everybody? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to RADIOVANIA, episode 73. 2020 is canceled. I'm your host, Zach Ratello, at Zach Ratello on Twitter. And sitting across from me in the digital space is Jon Swan Song Parker.
How's it going?
Going okay. This is an impromptu. So it's been a day.
This is an emergency pod.
Yeah, we had the someone somewhere sounded off the RADIOVANIA alarms. There were buzzers whirring and red lights churning, and it's like the Ghostbusters, the firehouse whenever shit goes down. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The SIP Wayfinder was blinking. You know,
right?
Yeah, stuff was going down.
Yeah. So this is an emergency pod. It's probably not going to be a very long one. Not like your typical. We talk about everything ad nauseum. But there's a couple news stories. Mostly everything on here is related to delays due to the coronavirus, COVID-19, which we talked about last week in our recommendations for quarantine, which I want to catch up with you on. But the big piece of news that we'll get to at the very end is The Last of Us Part 2 has been delayed yet again. So strap in. It's going to be a good show. Even though there's some depressing news topics, we're here to entertain you. That's our job. You know what I mean, John?
Yeah.
We're here to bring smiles.
Yes.
So yeah, let me start
off.
off.
Smiles.
There you go. That's our motto. Find that on the box. That's our box quote. We'll start it off with John. Last week we talked about quarantine recommendations and shit, and stuff that we want to watch or stuff that we want to enjoy while we're on quarantine.
Yeah.
What have you followed through on any of those for this past week?
I have consumed new content, but none of them are the things that I talked about last week.
Oh, really? Okay.
On the pod, yeah.
Hey, that's life.
I watched Hereditary.
Finally got around to that one.
Yeah. Listen.
What did you think?
It's good. I actually do like Midsommar better.
Really?
I do, yeah. And I know that might be in the minority, but I think it's a better movie. This one is a lot.
I don't necessarily disagree. But.
Yeah, have you seen both?
No, I've not seen Midsommar. So, I mean, I shouldn't have said I don't disagree. I don't think that that's a super hot take. I know that a lot of people looked at Midsommar very fondly. So
Midsommar is like a psychological thriller where you're just like watching it and you're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I can't believe this is on a film screen. Hereditary felt a lot more like a horror movie to me, with the occasional like really fucked up stuff. Because don't get me wrong, they're both really messed up movies, and I don't know how that director's only 2 movies are like this, because they just like they leave you up at night thinking about stuff for forever.
Have you ever seen any of Ari Aster, the director, any of his short films?
No. Are they crazy?
Okay. Well, there's one that is like fucking disturbing. It's like Meet the Brown Family or something like that. It's literally like I know you're about to make the Steve Harvey joke. I can feel it.
It's like Brown Family.
It's like Meet the Something Family, or a strange. It's like the story about the Johnsons or something. It's something.
Okay.
It's like a 30-minute. Yeah, it's a 30-minute short film. You can watch it on YouTube, I think, or maybe on like Vimeo or some shit. But it is horrifying, John. More scary than either of his other debut features there.
But I think the thing that. So I liked Hereditary overall. I like both of his movies. I think he's a really good filmmaker, and he gets really great performances out of people. Hereditary probably has a better cast, but Midsommar has Florence Pugh, and she is like throwing bangers in the entire Midsommar movie. She's crushing it. But they're both very different in that respect. But yeah, so I watched that. I finally got caught up and finished the newest season of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which was a good break after Hereditary.
Yeah.
To watch something.
You got to take a light something after those movies.
Yeah, there was a little different. And then I just started reading Stephen King's The Outsider.
Oh, okay. Have you?
I want to watch the show after I read the book, and I'm almost halfway done with the book. It's really good. I think you would actually really like it.
Okay, so I watched.
It's written like a detective journal, which is so cool.
Yeah, I watched the show as it was airing on HBO, so it was like week to week. I was watching it and keeping up with it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a good show, not a fabulous show. Like, I don't know. I'd be curious to know what you think when you finish the book.
Yeah.
I've got some issues about the way that the story progresses, but I've heard that the book and the show are very similar, so I might need to get some opinions off you after you finish that.
Yeah, I'll let you know. I'm excited.
For sure.
But yeah, that's about it in terms of new content since we last talked. And then I rewatched the Rise of Skywalker last night.
Nice. So. Got that sick ass Blu-ray.
Yeah, I just got the standard one. I thought about buying the 4K, but I didn't justify it.
Sure, I get it. But yeah, so for me, since last time we talked, I got Animal Crossing. So that's been a primary focus during my quarantine self-isolation here is paying off my debt to Mr. Tom Nook and, making sure he doesn't bust my kneecaps.
Nice.
You wake up in the morning, get a cup of coffee, pop open Animal Crossing. I tell you, dude, this is the most just relaxing game ever made. Like, I
heard
love,
it came out at the perfect time.
Yeah, for sure. Like I'm trying to. I was talking with Carly, my girlfriend, and we were sitting on the couch, and I was like, I'm having trouble imagining going through what we're going through right now and not having such a beacon of hope, which is Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Where it's like,
Our Lord and Savior Tom Nook coming down.
Yeah. Praise be to Nook. Praise be to Timmy and Tommy, his kids or his nephews or whatever. But yeah, dude, it's just so fun. Like everyone you interact with is positive. No one's very negative in the game. Like there's a lot of puns and funny jokes, and it's just overall very lighthearted. And the game is not like, you could play it at any skill level. It's not very challenging. It's just like, farm your fruits, farm your veggies, catch bugs, catch fish, upgrade your house, pay off your debt, collect, cool wallpapers and fun things from the shop, and you can visit your friends' islands and hang out. It's really just charming and very lighthearted and a nice breath of fresh air, especially during this time. So if you ever get a Switch, that's one to add to your list.
I hope to get one someday. If this quarantine keeps going on, I might have to order one. But my girlfriend, Izzy, is actually a really big Animal Crossing fan. She used to play the GameCube version as a kid. Yeah, that's one of her favorite games. And she's really jealous that neither of us have a Switch because we're like, we should be playing this right now. But she found her GameCube edition, so we might start playing the GameCube version.
Man, throwback.
Yeah. Little retro replay, son.
Yeah. But yeah, other than Animal Crossing, I'm almost finished with Better Call Saul. The new season is airing week to week, and I bought the final season because it wasn't available anywhere. I couldn't find it anywhere. So I bought it on Amazon. So I'm caught up, and then as the show releases at week by week, I'll finish that out. I started Gideon Falls trade number 2. Didn't get very far. Read it. I started it over a cup of coffee one morning, and very enjoying it very much so far. Can't wait to finish it. It's a great series.
It's so good. It's like I'm curious to see how the television adaptation goes.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully it's still happening.
I think it got picked up by Prime. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, I think I heard Amazon was involved.
Yeah, I think it's Amazon.
Yeah. But that's basically all I've been doing. Those same things. There might be some other stuff that's slipping my mind. I don't think I watched any new movies or anything like that. Mostly just TV, comic books, video games.
Yep. Retweet.
All right. Well, John, what say we start in on the shitstorm here?
Let's do it real quick. Fire it up.
Fire it up. So the first article comes from Variety. This was published on March 30th, 2020. So just a couple days ago. Morbius, Ghostbusters sequel, and more Sony movies pushed to 2021. I know you were so excited to see that Morbius movie, John. So don't shed a tear.
I wasn't excited to see either of those movies that you just said.
I was excited about Ghostbusters. I think that Afterlife trailer was really good.
Maybe.
Didn't do anything for you? Didn't tickle your jimmies?
No. I think Finn Wolfhard's being typecast as the preteen, kid-centered Goonies type cast movie and TV show.
He's good at it though.
I know he's good at it, but I kind of don't see him as characters anymore. I just see him as Finn Wolfhard. I had a really big problem with it in It Chapter 2 because I had seen all of Stranger Things when I went and saw that, and I was like, oh, it's Finn Wolfhard. So I don't know, but nothing against him. I think he's great. I think he's wonderful, and I want him to be in a lot of stuff. But I don't know. The concept of Ghostbusters, I think I like it. I like the original quite a bit, but it's not one of my favorite movies. So
I think the original Ghostbusters is one of my favorite comedies, maybe of all time. I mean, it's just a perfect storm. Like Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, all those guys, like just the way it's so funny and smartly written. And I think that Ghostbusters, the reboot with Melissa McCarthy, like the all-female one, you know, nothing against the concept of an all-females Ghostbuster, but that movie just sucks so much ass. So I like the concept. I like that Jason Reitman's involved in Afterlife. I like the concept of like the young kids and it actually being in part of the universe. And I don't know. I got a very nostalgic vibe from that trailer. And obviously they're trying to tug on your heartstrings, but I'm looking forward to it. But the bad news is
Bill Murray going to be in it?
Yeah, for sure. Bill Murray's in it. I think Dan Aykroyd's in it too.
Okay.
I have yet to. I don't think Ernie Hudson said he's reprising his role.
Why?
I have no idea. But that's the first. I've only heard news articles about Murray and Aykroyd. So.
Yeah. Do you think they're gonna CGI Ramis?
No. No. I think the story is it's about his kids. Like I think those are his kids.
Oh, and he's passed on.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. Okay, you sold me. I'm back.
That was easy.
Yeah. Ghostbusters. Who are you gonna call? Me.
But bad news, John. Now that you're excited about Ghostbusters Afterlife, you won't be able to see it from its original July 10th, 2020 release date. It's now scheduled March 5th, 2021. Jared Leto's Morbius has been pushed back from July 31st, 2020 to March 19th, 2021.
Oh, shit. Okay.
And then the real kicker here, Tom Holland, starring video game adaptation Uncharted, went from March 5th, 2021 to October 8th, 2021. So this movie just can't catch a fucking break, dog.
Have you seen it's either a Vine or something where it's the girl and she's holding the baby doll and she's like, give me your fucking money, and she throws it against the wall and it goes Special Victims Unit, it goes dum boom. Have you seen that Vine? Because that's what the Uncharted movie is.
Yeah, right.
Is going through right now from Sony. They're just throwing it against the wall.
Dude, I think it's a strong. I'm not a betting man, but if I was, I would say put all your chips on black in terms of the Uncharted movie. There, I'm not. I think that this production is so flawed and fucked from stem to stern. I don't know if this movie is ever happening. By the time,
maybe it'll just like fade into the mist.
And honestly, based on how much production trouble it's had and like how many directors it's gone through and script rewrites and stuff, it's like there's no way this movie can be good. I just think you just kill it. That might be the one good thing to come from coronavirus is that the Uncharted movie doesn't happen.
I think you got to open the cask of El Dorado in front of this movie and just let it take care of it for you.
Yeah, watch some faces melt.
Yeah.
From Variety, again, published on April 2nd, 2020. That is today. This news article published at 9 a.m. this morning. Top Gun Maverick release date pushed to December.
Is it a Christmas movie now?
Yes. It was scheduled to come out June 24th and will now release December 23rd, 2020. So they're not leaving 2020. They're not pushing this all the way to next year, but they are putting it at the very end of this year. So
I don't know if it being a Christmas movie is going to help my drink bet.
No, I think that. Oh, I forgot about the drink bet. Fuck.
Yeah.
What was the drink? Was it the movie would cross $1 billion?
I don't know if it was about box office. We'll have to go back and listen to it.
Yeah, we'll have to
$1 billion. Check on that. I don't know if $1 billion sounds right. I think I said it was going to cross its domestic gross from the first one. Like it was going to exceed that, adjusted for
okay.
inflation or something like that. So
Yeah,
I don't know. We'll see.
That makes sense. We'll have to check in on that.
There's no Star Wars movie this December, so
we get Top Gun.
So maybe, or is Avatar supposed to come out this year?
No, I don't. I think Avatar is 2021.
Okay.
I think. I don't know. Yeah, Quiet Place 2 also postponed.
Yeah, that one I was really bummed about.
But yeah, so that's the next one there, Top Gun. You have to wait a little bit longer to get a little bit highway into the danger zone in your veins.
Have you driven by a movie theater recently?
No, I haven't actually.
There's the Cinemark across the street from the Market District.
Right.
And I drive through the parking lot to get on a state road, and it has been empty for like weeks. I think they just like shut the business down entirely.
Yeah, I think most movie theaters I think have shut down. Cinemark is one of the ones that I've been kind of following on. I've been following their like trends. Apparently they've been trying to be okay. It looks like from what I've seen, this could be totally wrong, but it looks like they've been being okay about setting up like relief funds for people. So like, I think they have somewhat of a plan in place in case, this shit really hits the fan and theaters are closed for like months and months and months. So
yeah,
but it's sad. I was reading I read a tweet, and I think it's completely apt because it applies to me directly. It was like, the tweet was like, I'm going to be so pissed off if coronavirus is the end of the world and the last movie I saw in theaters was Sonic the Hedgehog. Because the last movie I saw in theaters was Sonic the fucking Hedgehog.
I think the last movie I saw in theaters was Episode 9.
Well,
yeah.
I would rather...
Or Little Women, one of those two.
I would rather have watched Episode 9 as my last movie I ever saw in a theater as opposed to Sonic, but...
yeah. But here we are.
Here's hoping. All the best. I really hope the movie theater industry can rebound after this, because as much shit as I talk about them, I don't want them to go away completely in a fiery death. Yeah. I just want there to be the option. Next article. This is the one positive article before we get to the real heavy hitter. Nintendo has big plans for Super Mario Bros. 35th anniversary. Multiple sources have confirmed to VGC that Nintendo is planning to hold an event to coincide with this year's anniversary, which it is 35 years since the start of the mainline Mario series in 1985. As part of the 35-year-old celebration, they're going to be remastering a bunch of Mario games, including Mario Sunshine, Mario Galaxy, Super Mario 64, and 3D World, and they'll all be coming to the Switch. And their rumor is that 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy will all be, and Galaxy 2 or whatever, will all be a bundled game that you can buy, and then 3D World will be a separate thing that'll have like extra features or whatever. So
nice.
I've been asking for this shit forever. Mario Sunshine, most underrated Mario game. Give me that shit. Put it in my veins.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, for sure. We got to get you that Switch. We got to set up a GoFundMe to help coronavirus relief. Buy John Parker's Switch.
I'm going to use that Trump money to buy a Nintendo Switch.
Not a bad use. Not a bad use.
Yeah, I mean, it's only, a fourth of my Trump money? So, worth it.
Trump money. I love her calling it Trump money.
Dude, it's Trump money.
Yeah. Okay. We got that laugh out, so now's the time. This is what you've been waiting for, everybody. This is the emergency. Today at 2:00 p.m. on the dot, PlayStation's official Twitter account tweeted out, update, Sony Interactive Entertainment has made the difficult decision to delay the launch of The Last of Us Part 2 and Marvel's Iron Man VR until further notice. Logistically, the global crisis is preventing us from providing the launch experience our players deserve. And shortly after that, Naughty Dog's official Twitter account put out a statement saying, quote, as you've likely just seen, the release of The Last of Us Part 2 has been delayed. We're sure this news is as disappointing to you as it is to us. We wanted to reach out to all of you in our community to give you a little more information. The good news is we're nearly done with development of The Last of Us Part 2. We are in the midst of fixing our final bugs. However, even with us finishing the game, we were faced with the reality that due to logistics beyond our control, we couldn't launch The Last of Us Part 2 to our satisfaction. We want to make sure that everyone gets to play The Last of Us 2 around the same time, ensuring that we're doing everything possible to preserve the best experience for everyone. This meant delaying the game until such a time where we can solve these logistic issues. We were bummed about this decision, but ultimately understood it's what's best and fair to all of our players. We're hoping that this won't be a long delay, and we'll update you as soon as we have new information to share. We wish you all, your families, and your friends the best of health. Thank you for being amazing fans and for your continued support. Stay safe, Naughty Dog. John.
Yeah.
You are our resident The Last of Us expert.
Correspondent.
Our Last of Us correspondent, yes. And before we dive into some of the politics that might have caused this delay and the situation based on track, I want to know what your initial reaction was when you heard the news.
My initial reaction was, in The Last of Us Part 1, when you get grabbed by a clicker and it bites your face off.
Yes.
That's what it felt like. It felt like that. It was very disappointing. When I saw that, I was like, because that was kind of the thing I was looking forward to. I was like, well, at least if this quarantine goes this long, I can still play this game, and I'll actually have a lot of time to play it a bunch.
Right.
So it was kind of like my light at the end of the tunnel. And now that light is extinguished and I'm lost in the dark. Boom.
Yeah, I was definitely disappointed. Like, I don't know. The Last of Us is one of my favorite games of all time. Best PlayStation 3 game. Definitely. It was the Swan Song. That's how your name originated.
I know. This is my origin story. This is also it's like my second favorite piece of fiction.
Yeah.
So
I was looking forward to it immensely, but the thing is that like it's been delayed. It was delayed twice before this delay due to the coronavirus. And each time it got delayed, I was like, you know what? I'm not like – there's so many other games that have come out in the last year, like Star Wars, Death Stranding, Animal Crossing, Control, which I'm wanting to play through, like Modern Warfare, tons of video games have come out in the last year where it's like every time The Last of Us got delayed, it's not the one video game I'm looking forward to. So it didn't hurt as bad as I imagine it did for you, where it's like you're a very specific video game player. You buy specific games and you'll play them like to death. And so the thing that's really bumming me out about this is that this is the first time in history, as far as I can remember as a video game fan, where something has been delayed because of a global issue where there is no expected release date. Like we've gone from Last of Us coming in May to we don't know when it's coming out now. Like it could be summer, it could be fall, it could be next year. Like
yeah,
we just don't know. And that's the most heartbreaking thing to me is that like you said, it was kind of like a light at the end of the tunnel where it's like, cool, well, we at least know it's been delayed twice already. The game is probably close to being done. I can't wait to get my hands on this thing and play it. And now that has just been like ripped out of our hands. And obviously you don't fault the devs and you can't fault PlayStation because we're in a very weird time politically and socially. But it's just kind of heartbreaking. Like I can't remember the last time that a delay of a video game like really hit me this hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm very disappointed and I don't know. I've been looking forward to this game for like 6 years. So
yeah,
and I'm going to have to keep waiting a little bit longer. So it's just making the quarantine that's already really boring. Like it just made it everything a little bit sadder today. So
yeah. It was definitely not the news article I expected, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's the next big video game that's coming out. I mean, like the Final Fantasy remake comes out next Friday. That's a big deal, but those copies have probably already shipped. The people have taken photos of them, like having like people have found it in stores early and shit, and like so that's different. But then it's like as soon as we get past that, it's like anything is fair game to be delayed. So it's like I don't know, dude. Like production is probably stopped on God of War on the new one. Production's probably Spider-Man, the new one. Yep, that was on track. That was probably going to be a 2021 game too. So
I know, yeah, it's gonna be quick.
Avengers, that's coming out this fall, which I was excited about. That's probably going to get delayed. I don't know what the state of like Cyberpunk is, and I don't know. It's very weird. It's a very weird time to be alive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's so strange because, I mean, if you think about the entire pod that we've just been having has been like, this is delayed and this is delayed and this is delayed. It's like everyone's livelihood is kind of just being put on hold for the time being, you know?
Yeah.
And when that happens, sometimes you just got to make some potatoes. $4.50. There we go.
Jesus, you had to click that fucker a lot.
Yeah, dude. I know.
Okay, well, since we got our first initial reactions out the gate there, I want to double down on something that might give us a little bit more like talking, might bring a little bit more discussion to the table. The same guy that wrote the article for Kotaku that broke the news story about The Last of Us delay. His name's Jason Schreier. He's a video game journalist. He's been in the business for a long time, so I trust him when his inside sources whenever he talks about them. He put out a tweet right after the delay and said, quote, "The Last of Us 2 was on track for May. Multiple developers have said the primary reason for the delay is the challenge of printing, shipping, and selling physical games right now. Going remote has not stopped those still working on the game, such as QA from crunching. Hopefully the delay helps." So it sounds to me
like it's going to be done.
It sounds like it is done. It sounds like they're so like right before a video game is completely finished and it goes into mass production, they have a gold copy of the thing. Like they have a working copy that they can send out to team members of Naughty Dog to like play on their PlayStations from front to back. And they just look for any like weird glitches or bugs that might have been hidden in the original process. So somewhere, someone is probably playing The Last of Us 2 right now. And
I know.
The game
I wish it was me.
I know. So I know that there's politics involved, and you know, the distribution stuff with like the printing, the shipping, and the physical stuff, but I want to know, John, if you feel a little bit like slighted by this information because they have the ability, they probably, allegedly, Naughty Dog probably has the ability to still release the game on its scheduled release date on digital platforms, but they're choosing not to because they want to capitalize on selling the physical copies of the game as well.
I wanted a physical copy of the game. So like I don't really like buying it digital, but this would be like the one game that it's like you can only buy it now digitally or you can wait an undisclosed amount of time. Like I'm buying that thing twice digitally if I have to, you know? So yeah, that makes me a little peeved that that they don't just do it, because I mean, like think about what people are doing. Like there are film studios that are releasing movies digitally because at least they can still make money off of it, and they want to entertain people during this dark time, you know?
Yeah.
Like you want to entertain me during this dark time, don't you, Naughty Dog? After everything I've done for you.
Yeah. I mean, it's not just the fact that they have the ability, they have like entertainment that people want, but it's also that like, I think people are buying. Like I'm curious to see, I know that, you know, a lot of people are in financial hardships, myself included, because of all this COVID-19 shit. But like, budgeting is definitely going to be tighter, but I have been able to swing a couple purchases where it's like, well, I know that I'm not spending this money that I typically would on other things, so I can, I bought a season of Better Call Saul that I probably could have waited for to come out on streaming for $20 just because it's like, well, that would be 2 drinks at a bar if I went out with a couple friends this Friday night, right? It's like Animal Crossing, I had some Amazon credits saved up. It's like, you know what? I'm going to be playing this game for months, so I might as well I can justify this purchase. So it's like I'm curious to know, once this is all said and done, like what the trends were on digital purchasing for video games and movies and television during the virus, because I would wager a bet and say that, I don't know, I think they'd be pretty safe on recouping any losses of physical copies of The Last of Us by releasing it digital,
Yeah.
Like I think that they'd be pretty safe to release
I
it.
think they could make twice the amount, because there's some crazy people like me that might like buy it digitally to play it when it comes out, and then like buy the physical deluxe edition because I want it. You know what I mean? With like DLCs attached to it and like season passes if they ever do anything like that. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting move, but at the same time, it's also a move that like it's kind of justified. Like you can't really hold anyone at fault during this time.
No,
because our country is I'm going to get on a little political box here, but the U.S. is kind of a little bit late in the game in terms of doing stuff to prevent a worse spread of COVID-19.
I'm right there with you.
And we didn't do it. And so now we're going to be paying for it for the next couple months by being quarantined, sheltered in place. Social gatherings might be limited even for the next couple of years. Like this could affect the movie business. This could affect going to concerts. There's like all kinds of stuff that could get hit. But like video games are still, you buy it for the most part, unless you're like an e-gamer. You buy it, you take it home, and you sit on your couch or your bed and you play it, and you're either by yourself or it's a party game. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I think maybe if this gets worse in the next couple weeks, maybe they change their mind and they release it digitally.
Well, that's a thing. Yeah, that's a thing definitely that I think is worth thinking about, is that like people, the phrase, I hate this phrase because I've heard it 1,000 times since the beginning of March, but the phrase "it's going to get worse before it gets better" has been said about 1,000 times to me in the last month. You know what I mean? And now that we are retail, restaurants, non-essential stuff that got hit pretty early. Like, full transparency with my job, like I was part of the non-essential retail stuff. So like my place of work closed up for the time being. So that stuff got hit hard early. Then the movies started getting hit, like entertainment industries getting hit. And so like I'm not talking about like specifically like, oh, it's only important that the entertainment industry is getting hit. I mean, like what people spend their money on, like how they're getting hit at specific times, right? And the video game industry has been mostly able to stay afloat because you can buy video games physically at like grocery stores like Walmart and stuff, and Target, which people are also buying groceries. So those places are open as essential retail.
Right.
But I would have to wager a guess that more people are, because of the virus, opting to buy games digitally as to not like if they don't have to go to the store to buy a video game. I would assume that they are probably buying them digitally now. And like the PlayStation Store has been running its spring sale for a day or two now, and it's got a bunch of really good deals on it. And so they're trying to push for digital sales. It's obvious. Like it's very, very obvious. And I think that if this could continue to escalate, and if they do see a drop of sales from physical media from all this stuff, they might reevaluate in the summer and think like, well, we might lose more money if we hold out on Last of Us 2, and we could gain more money now with more people that are buying digital stuff. So I think that
if it's the only game that comes out in late May or even early June, like the only big name video game that's like has the balls to do that, like they could own the market share of the video game industry for like a couple weeks in the same way that Animal Crossing did.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that, I mean, it's also interesting too because of what Animal Crossing is versus what The Last of Us is, where The Last of Us is a very dark, dire game about a virus that like takes over the United States and the world. And it's like, are people going to be in the mood to play something like that when they're living that? You know what I mean?
Yes, that's exactly what I want to play, because you can take rash actions in the game that I'm not going to do in real life.
Right. I mean, I'm totally down because, you know, it's escapism no matter what it is. Like, despite what's going on outside my door, like escapism is escapism. And The Last of Us just tells such a great, compelling story. Like, I'm also curious to know, like, because they were writing this game. The game was finished narratively before all this coronavirus stuff happened. I'm curious to know. I'm curious to know what narrative threads like maybe prove to be very realistic. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
But
the origin of the virus is something that we still haven't found out.
Mm-hmm. And boy, could that be interesting.
Yep.
What if they call it like? Yeah, in the game they call it like the white clawitis or something.
I don't know, man. It's also, side note, do you think there's gonna be 3 Last of Us games? Let's just go to do you think it's gonna be a trilogy? Before we even seen part 2 on our own home screens, do you think they intend this to be a trilogy?
I don't know. I mean, obviously, you know, video games are different than movies, where video games are very expensive to make and they only ever make sequels for games that are financially successful. Like, if The Last of Us 1 didn't make its money back and more, they probably would have been like, all right, we'll treat it as a one-off. But because that was one of the most successful games of all time, the idea of a sequel coming out was like kind of like common sense. So I think that given the fact that Last of Us 2 will probably make more money than Last of Us 1, I would say yes. Like, there's going to be a 3. I don't know if it's going to be in this universe or not universe. Sorry. I don't know if it's going to be like a continuation of the Joel and Ellie storyline, but I do think
they're going to Lost Legacy it eventually.
I don't know, but I definitely think that, you know, the Last of Us world, I don't think they want to Walking Dead it, where it's like, you know how there's like 50 different Walking Dead spin-offs and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they want that, but I also think that they want this to be a series because it's financially successful. So I
would play 10 of these games. You know,
for sure. If they all maintain the same level of quality.
I mean, you're a little more down on it than I am, but maybe it's because they released it so soon after. But I really like Uncharted Lost Legacy a lot. It's actually one of my favorites. And I would be really interested in seeing how that formula exists in the Last of Us universe. Like, if there's like a shorter game that I could play, maybe like a 16-hour instead of a 30-hour Last of Us game, where I just play as Tommy or, you know, Tess or something like that. Like, I would be very interested in something like that. Yeah,
I didn't dislike Lost Legacy 2. I just thought it was, you know, not.
It's very similar to 4. Yeah.
It's similar to 4, but it's also just like I like Chloe and I like what's her name? Nadine, yeah. I like those two characters, but I just don't like them as much as I like Nathan Drake, you know.
I know. That's why I think they should have waited a little bit. Like, I don't think we were salivating enough for more Uncharted yet because Uncharted 4 was so good.
Yeah. But can you imagine if they surprise dropped The Lost Legacy now while we were in this like quarantine stuff where they were just like, surprise, there's a new Uncharted game.
Perfect time. Yeah. And spoilers for Uncharted Lost Legacy if you haven't played it yet, but I think it came out like 2 years ago. So what are you doing? But like the fact that they included Sam in it is kind of what made that for me. Like having that cameo so I could get more of that new character I was really into, and that's the character that I want to see more of. I want the adventures of Sam and Sully.
Yeah, for sure.
Going to Portugal or wherever it was they were going at the end of the game.
Yeah, I really hope that that's number 5.
Man, maybe I'll play Uncharted 4 again.
Hell yeah, brother.
What a game.
Yeah, brother.
Game.
Well, we're coming up on the end time for our emergency Radiovania episode, but
John, I'm glad we did this.
Yeah, for sure. It's nice to, it's like group therapy,
Yeah, and we're gonna see each other in a couple days, so
you bet your ass.
Maybe there'll be some room for maybe a little after dark or something with the ladies. I don't know.
I think that's 100% on the table. So
yeah,
Radiovania fans, look out for that action.
Or a sunshine show or sunrise show.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But the thing I want to leave us on, John, we're infamous for our drink bets.
Okay.
We have to make a drink bet now because we're in an unprecedented time. And take some time to think about this. If you need to take a couple seconds of silence to think about it and maybe look at a calendar, take your time. I'll edit this down to where it needs to be. But because of The Last of Us 2's delay, John, I want to put a drink bet on there. Closest to without going over like Family Feud style rules. Or not Family Feud. Price is Right style.
Price is Right.
When does The Last of Us 2 release?
So where do you mean, like physically or digitally?
Sorry, that was confusing. When? Just when? When do you think it comes out?
Just when. Okay.
Yeah. When do you think this game
comes out? October.
October 2020.
Yeah, like late October, that Halloween slate. Because you got about a couple weeks for it to make a lot of money, and then it's a couple weeks on the shelf full price, and then you clean up with the Black Friday sales.
Okay. So October 2020.
And projections is the pandemic should, knock on wood, hopefully be done by then, and we can at least open up some non-essential businesses.
Okay. So here's the rules then.
If everyone stays in their homes.
Yeah. Let's hope. Fingers crossed. So here's the rules. I'll buy you a beer if it comes out in October 2020. But then I want you to pick the day. Now, just pick a random day here in October, because video games usually come out typically they come out Fridays. Sometimes weird things like Nintendo comes out on Tuesdays. Yeah. So it kind of depends. The Last of Us Part 1 came out on a Friday.
I'm going to go with October 23rd.
October 23rd.
Or wait, when's Outbreak Day? You know they have their own holiday, right?
I do know they have their own holiday.
Is that in October? Because maybe it releases on that day.
Let's find out. The Last of Us Outbreak Day. Outbreak Day is September 26th.
That's too soon. I think it's going to be a little too soon. Although that would be prime. That would actually be really funny if it came out that day. But yeah, I'm going to go with October 23rd.
Okay, October 23rd. John is locking it in.
Final answer.
Okay. Now, are you ready for mine?
Yeah.
Mine's going to be a little bit more dire, unfortunately. Oh, I have 2 dates in my mind, and I'm going to try my absolute best to pick between them.
Okay.
I'm going to go – you're going to hate my ass so hard. February 12th, 2021.
Okay. I thought you were going to say 2022, so that's not that bad.
No, The Last of Us 2 is coming out it's coming out within a year of now.
Within a year. Okay.
Within a year of now, this game is coming out. I think just based on I'm taking a lot of the reason I'm selecting that is because of movie delays. So like movies that were coming out in May, when are they getting pushed to? And a lot of them are getting pushed to 2021. So I'm like, well, take that same math in terms of, because a lot of movies too are probably done
Yeah,
shooting,
but that's just
done.
because it's a theater experience, which is a collection of people in close proximity. The video game experience is very different. I don't think they need to follow the same model.
I agree, but video game production is also a little bit more. It's different. I mean, they're different. They're different boats. You know. I mean,
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. So you might. It's tricky, but I'm just going based on the rest of the entertainment industry. Like, because a lot of what, you know, those, again, movies could not only just be finished filming and stuff, but it's also like they want to hit specific windows of when people are going to be out watching movies. It's not just.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's the same for video games. There are certain times of the year where people, I thought it was always weird having a video game coming out in summer where it's like, yeah, you're capitalizing on kids that are on summer break. But like during the winter is the most prime time to release a video game because that's when most people are at home playing them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know. Just my thoughts. We'll see what happens. Anything could happen.
See. Maybe it'll come out digitally on Memorial Day and we'll both just drink a beer together.
I would love that.
I would love that too. We can just quarantine and play the whole thing, start to finish.
Oh, God. That was what I was hoping. Yeah. I was like, if this game comes out and we're still on quarantine, I was like highly considering not even buying it and playing it and just driving to your house.
Watching me.
Yep. 100%.
That's what John Larson wanted to do. He's like, I just want to come watch you play it. That's like a
sure.
lot of people, it's like they want to see my reaction, you know, which I find that very endearing.
I want to be in that room with you when you find out that that Joel is dead.
No. I might smash something pretty hard.
Well,
I don't know.
You won't have to smash anything for maybe another year,
John. If they make multiple Last of Us games, I don't think he dies until the last one. That's my prediction. But that's another conversation for another time. Who knows? Yeah. He could die in the first 10 seconds of this game.
I think Joel might die in this one, and Ellie might die in the third one.
Oh, so they just both die?
Yep.
Jeez, man.
The Last of Us there's no happiness in The Last of Us. It's all dour.
No, dude, it's about finding family and people.
It's about family. Dominic Toretto?
That's me, man.
Yeah.
Oh man, maybe I should watch all the Fast movies while I'm.
Fuck yeah, you should. Yeah, you should.
Those movies are enjoyable as hell.
Yeah, dude, they're so entertaining. Just popcorn flicks, man. Like, I love them.
Speaking of which, real quick, this is gonna be our closing thing, and then I gotta finish dinner. We were talking about Fast and Furious. You remember when I talked to you about the concept of the 5 o'clocker from Bill Simmons' podcast? Yeah. It's like a movie that's a popcorn movie that like you want to see just to pass the time, but you don't really want to think too much during it.
Yeah.
What's your favorite 5 o'clocker? And we can recommend this to people. I'll go first.
So, yeah, you go first.
So criteria for this is like might not make a whole lot of sense storytelling wise. Probably a little bit of cheesy acting, really fun action set pieces, and quippy dialogue, and just characters that you want to hang out with, right?
Right.
I'm going National Treasure. I think National Treasure might be my favorite 5 o'clocker. Yeah. And if you are looking for something to do during the quarantine, I'm pretty sure it's on Disney Plus and or Netflix. National Treasure holds up. It holds up.
Yeah, for sure it does. I think National Treasure is coming to Disney Plus in April, but I don't know if it's now. I think it might be soon, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
Man, you got a good one there with National Treasure.
My backup
that is a
was
solid
Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah.
The only problem with Pirates of the Caribbean is that those movies are like 3 hours long.
They are long.
It's not.
They are.
It's not a movie.
Boys.
Yeah, it's not like a movie that you wait for rush hour traffic to be over. Oh man, I'm trying to think of like a mindless action movie. I'm coming up blank besides Fast and the Furious. Like Fast 6, Fast 7, like both of those are just like, whew. You want some time to kill that you want to fly by fast? Fucking put those on. That's a 5 o'clocker right there.
Yeah, definitely. I'll let that marinate for a little bit, but I think that'd be a good way to end it so that we're not so dour.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's good. We got to be positive. We're here to bring you positivity and joy here on Radiovania. That's our job. That's our jorb. Our job.
That's our jorb. He's dying.
Oh, I'm going down. I'm going down hard swinging. But yeah, email us with your questions, comments, and concerns, and tell us what your favorite 5 o'clocker is.
Connor, email us.
Yeah, Connor, do it. I dare you. You got nothing else going on. RADIOVANIASHOW@gmail.com. No, I think his busy season just ended. So
good.
Congrats to Connor.
Way to be.
You can follow the show at RADIOVANIA, RADIOVANIASHOW@gmail.com. You can tweet me at Zach Rotello. And if you're into it, also, you can check out my other podcasts that I've been doing called Dollar Beer Night. We do rotating topical stuff. And we actually, I don't know if it's coming up live this weekend or next week, but we're doing a review of Watchmen 2009. Like we rewatched the movie and we're going to talk about it.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, thank you guys for listening, and stay strong out there. Share your toilet paper. Anything else you want to add?
Well, don't share your toilet paper after you've already used it.
Yes. Ideally, do it before you wipe.
Share your unused rolls of toilet paper.
Right. Yes.
Don't wipe and then pass to your friend.
Yes. Don't
That's
wipe,
not gonna help.
hold, and then pass. It's.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's grizzly.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Bye.